Hey friends, it's Mary here, back with another sponsor interview for you guys today. I am the owner of Studio Nude, if you haven't caught on to that. But anyhow, I'm here on behalf of all of the members of Studio Nude and our Broken and Beloved project and those who sponsor it. And this is my opportunity to give a little interview to these wonderful women in our community who are helping us continue on our third year now of the Broken and Beloved project, which is crazy to even think that we're on our third year of doing this. So today I have one of the co-owners of the Nest Co-work and Club that is located downtown Green Bay, right off of Broadway. It is just, I'm really excited to chat with Lauren today. So we have Lauren Jansen today that is going to be telling you all things the Nest. I have been, give you a little background. So Lauren and I actually met. I think she came in for a headshot is what ended up happening because it was one of those things that I was helping like co-collaborate when we're in business together. So that's what happens. And she ended up coming in for a headshot. That's how we met. She was interning at the time for the Nest, I believe, because I'm actually one of the founding members of the Nest, meaning I was there before the paint was on the wall. And I think my signature's somewhere on the wall somewhere that's been now covered with paint. But I was there right from the beginning and I've been a member since. So I absolutely love working at the Nest. It's something that has been a godsend for me, especially because it was right during COVID. So it was a way to get out of the house, see some different scenery. You guys made it through that. But Nest is more than just a co-working space. So today, Lauren's going to actually dive in to tell you all the things that you can do at the Nest because it's such a versatile space downtown. And I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So welcome, Lauren. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's more about, we know that it's a co-working space exactly, because sometimes I think people get a little confused over like what that even mean. I think first maybe give us a description on what the co-working space is, so that
hmm
way people can understand that. And then I would love for you to dive into some of the other things that, or the other ways that the Nest can be utilized for events.
Yeah. So when you think about co-working space, it's really exactly what it sounds like. It's a space where people can come together and just work in vicinity to each other. And it doesn't mean that we're in the same business, we're in the same, it just means that people are in a room together and we're just in a space in a collaborative mindset where we are just putting our pen to paper and making things happen. When it comes to a co-working space, really the way we approach it is more of a community style instead of just offices or cubicles. We really do want that like shop connection vibe, but then also still having those designated spaces for people to really dive into their work and just have a place to go that also gets them out of their normal day to day. I know that was something I always struggled with when I started working remotely. Was it's hard for me to ignore the distractions of my everyday life when I was in a place that would constantly remind me of that. So that is what we brought to Green Bay, and we specifically serve women in business. We are men only, but we are very female forward when it comes to just like our processes and the way we really lead ourselves. What our co-working space is created for.
I love that.
Yeah.
And something that I always tell people, because one of the, I don't want to say it's an objection, but kind of those blockers that keeps people from maybe thinking of like, oh, well, why would I want to be at a co-working space when I already rent a space? People have asked me that, like, why do I need a co-working space? Because obviously I have this studio that I already pay for and that I already have access to home as it is. And
hmm
so I find myself with those distractions that you were talking about, like I find myself getting distracted doing the same kinds of things I would be doing at home, but like at my studio, like, oh, shelf really needs to be dusted. I'm going to
Yep.
do that. Or that really needs to happen, kind of like tinkering around. And when I'm at the Nest, I find myself like, there's nothing here that I have to tinker around with. Space that's already kind of be care of, but you guys also have versatility in the memberships as well. That's new, where
Yes.
people can kind of have levels of membership where they can maybe get a savings to kind of treat it, home
Yeah.
space, have some of those duties. But then there's people like me who are like, no, thank you. I already do that over here. So that's my biggest thing is like, I feel like I find myself getting distracted with other tasks. So when I'm really trying to get something done, like when I'm really trying to get focused, I find myself going to the Nest to really plug in and get hyper focused, or sometimes have team meetings there because, again, it can be so easy. A package will get delivered and
Mm-hmm.
it's like wardrobe and then timeout. Now we're trying on new wardrobe. And I'm like, what the hell just happened here?
Yep.
We were supposed to be doing something else.
Yep.
so, we did that all the time. And the only place that has windows in my studio is where we're shooting at, and I don't have any like desks or anything here. So I like having windows and kind of doing that coffee shop vibe, if you will, without it
Yep.
being like as hustle. But still
Yeah.
there's people like coming in and out. And maybe it's like an ADHD thing for me where I like to kind of have noise going on.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll even listen to that in my headphones, to be completely honest with you, to just create some of that. So I always say it's definitely a space you can go to if you need to get things done. Like,
Yes. Yeah. And add to that, that is primarily what I do when I come here. Granted, when I'm here, I also have things I have to do for the nest, but primarily when I'm here, I do notice like I have a tendency to really be able to dive in and focus. But then the other thing that happens at the nest is sometimes you're like, okay, I need to work on these things, but then you find yourself like even in a different new space, you might be like, I'm just struggling to connect the dots or something just isn't making sense. The other really cool thing about the nest is then when there's other people here, you have a different person to bounce ideas off of, as well as strategize or just think outside your own head. Um, and for me, that has always been truly beneficial because even though I know my business and I know this business, every once in a while, it's good to get an outsider's opinion because maybe there's something I'm not seeing that I'm like, why is this not working? Why, really cool because even if you want heads down time, there is a connection piece to the nest in our community that also can be super supportive. And I mean, days when I like task don't actually get a whole lot done, but I do still feel super productive because I've some things in my brain that were just like hanging out, didn't know where to go with. And that is another really cool piece that can happen when you hang out here for a day.
I love it. And some of the perks and benefits of being a member, and these are
Yep.
perks, because I want you to talk about that. Some of the perks and benefits of being a member are your guys's like monthly that you host, and then these are also open to the public. Yes, these like monthly events that you guys.
Yes.
So talk to us about the event side of the Nest and in the realm of the events that you host. And then obviously you guys are an event venue rental. So
Hmm.
you can talk about some of the more recent ones, like that stylized one. I think you
Yeah.
should definitely into that one for sure.
Yeah, sure. So benefit to our space too, we also host monthly events for networking, connection, growing your business, and providing information to women in business or anyone who is really like needing in different areas. In the past, we've had bookkeeping events, marketing events, social media events as like diving in reels on Instagram and things like that, which Mary helped us lead. And just found that when we offer business style events that really provide information for people, it's always well received. There's benefits, there's a ton of information, and the nice part is anyone can join these. I've had people who have full-time jobs that come to these events because they're like, I just need to know a little bit more about this and I want to get some updates from somebody else that is in this industry because I just need a fresh take for my job. Or some of our events are like just networking events. Every fall, we usually host a mingle event where we are just truly connecting with each other. The whole purpose of that event is to meet new people, chat about yourselves, and just make new relationships. And all of our events are open to the public. We do offer now member happy hour events every once in a while where members get to bring in friends to really get the member experience at our events. And those are more like fun, playful. So like we had Galentine's event, which that one is truly just to kind of be around like-minded women. So we offer a wide variety of events, usually twice a month. It's the second and fourth Tuesday of every month that we host events, and we do promote them on our socials, our websites, everywhere. So,
I love that. And okay, and I actually, the other things that you guys do is you obviously do event venue, like so venue where you can
yes.
actually do like a event. And one of the things that I did in 2020, probably against people's wanting to, but I did it anyway because I was
Yep.
like, people need to get out of the cage. I hosted, honestly, it was kind of the beginning stages of the Broken and Beloved project, in a sense where
Mm-hmm.
I was, of women, and it's
Yep.
called the 40 over 40 project, or it was called 40 over 40. And that's where I was on a mission to capture 40 women over the age of 40 and tell their stories and share their advice. So we actually printed out and turned it into a gallery. So that
Yep.
is an example of that. But we did a whole gallery there where all of their photos were printed and on the wall, which was super cool and fun to see because the space can be transformed into so many things. And most
Yes.
recently, you guys have shown a really cool, especially if you're balling on a budget, kind of
Yep.
being about brides right now too. We're breaking into that industry right now. So this kind of what we're going
Mm-hmm.
at too. So
Yeah.
talk to us about this recent stylized shoot that you guys did.
Yeah. So recently had a member looking for a space for her wedding that she's having this coming fall. And she struggled with finding an indoor venue that wasn't a church and could hold a fair amount of people. And there weren't many options in Green Bay. And the light bulb kind of went on in both my brain and the other co-founder Alex her brain as well. We kind of started this idea and we're like, you know what? We have a really killer space that is beautiful and it always looked great. And we get so many compliments on the aesthetics. What if we turned it into a ceremony space? Because one thing when you're renting the nest for an event like a baby shower or bridal shower or whatever you need it for, the thing we always find that a lot of our renters love is the fact that all of our furniture can be moved because it's modular, it's lightweight, and you can then shift everything to fit the vibe of your event. And so that's where the idea came from. And I was like, I know people who can decorate, and we are literally next door to a florist. And so we collaborated with a bunch of local vendors in downtown Green Bay, as well as some of our members. And we put together a wedding styled shoot for ceremony space, which for us, it would be on a micro level. So if you're truly budget conscious and you're like, I don't like people and I want to keep it small and keep it simple, you could have a wedding ceremony and even possibly a reception in our space. And it was so fun to put this project together because once we had the chairs and the arch and the flowers and just everything put together, you could really see the vision of like what having a micro wedding ceremony in our space could look like. And it was everything I had hoped for and more.
Well, and the other thing that I thought was really cool that you guys did was that you also utilized other businesses downtown because that was the other
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like the Aardvark is there, plus
Yep.
you've got Amphora wine. So
Mm-hmm.
it's so easy to like talk to them about making like a little reception ceremony,
Yeah.
over one of the places. And I'm just thinking like I love so I was like a sucker for like the classic. When I was married and got married, I eloped and we had a very small
Yep.
little shindig. And it was so nice because then we were able to put our money in other places
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have to like that was one we could kind of cut down on and then have more expenses for the things that we valued more in it. Not to say that people who do like these big weddings are there's anything wrong with that. Like
Yeah.
go off
No.
and do your other of us who have other ways we want to spend our money and invest our money and we don't necessarily want to have this big thing, but you still want it to look nice and you still
Yeah.
want it to like be pretty and like you don't necessarily want to like I'm not the have a backyard country thing. That ain't my vibe. I
Yeah.
still want it to be like chic and like
Yes.
expensive.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we was. I mean, yes, there's not getting married in your church or indoors, but if you think about your outdoor options in Wisconsin, you have a window of time of when you can actually have great weather. The foliage doesn't look brown and dead. And you're battling winter. So when it came to other options, that's kind of where it was like, you know what, we could really fill the gap on certain categories especially for those who maybe just don't like the vibe of churches, or they're just like, I want something different, something unique. And that was kind of something that we like, hey, that could be us. And
Right.
so that we just decided to pull the trigger and test it out. And I mean, we were absolutely right.
I love it. I
Yeah.
think that's so cool. Okay, let's talk about I want to share how the way that the Nest kind of came along with us for the Broken and Beloved project, because I
Yeah.
think that's really important of how you guys became a sponsor. And everybody sponsors in different ways, which I think is something that I want to bring note of, is that not every sponsorship type of opportunity that we have with the Broken and Beloved project is always a monetary exchange. I think people need to understand that we're also looking for sponsors that are willing to sponsor us in other ways. And one of the ways that the Nest has done that for us has been that event space, most recently for our launch party that we had for this year's Broken and Beloved project. And then last year, we also had like a painting night. These are
Mhm.
things, as me being a member, would normally be something that would be a little extra, but that was something where the Nest stepped in and were like, yeah, like you go, we want to be a part of this. And so that's one of the things that made them a sponsor. And I also am just going to shed a little bit of light on Lauren specifically, because Lauren actually went through the Broken and Beloved project not once but twice to get through it, and she's been, ever since her headshot session, has been a devoted nudie over here with us. And so
Yep.
there's that. She has been a repeat offender over and over. And so, Lauren, I would just love, like, obviously, this is a blessing for you to be able to, help sponsor the project, and but also been it. So, any words or any kind of testament that you can give to the Broken and Beloved project, not only from a sponsor standpoint, but also from somebody who's been in it, I would love for people to hear your hot take and biggest thing that you on in these years of being in the this is your for not being in it, so it's probably like, where are you today, like where is she today?
Yeah.
But I would
Um,
love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, of course. So it's funny because when I first joined the project, I think the Nest, just because I'm a part of the Nest as an owner, it just sort of became the hub in which we all wanted to meet. And I know I'm going to attest to this, that when we first started, we were like, okay, we're meeting on Zoom. And then people were like, hey, do you want to get together? And so it ended up becoming where we ended up meeting in person a lot. And the Nest was a great space because I was here, and then Mary was like, well, I'm a member, I can meet you all there. And it kind of started from that. And that's when I noticed like there's a need space of collaboration. And Mary and I had the conversation, and I was like, you know what, any book clubs you need, just let me know and we'll help out. The people you're helping are also very similar to the people we want to support. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, that doesn't matter. What our space is really great for is the connection and the community, which first year we ended up getting a few members from the project because they realized the community aspect that we were able to provide outside of the project. And so it just became a natural relationship for us to hold with the Broken and Beloved project. And like providing the events, because we want to showcase that yes, we're an event space, but we also have another community just like the Broken and Beloved project that you can come into and also thrive in. So it was natural progression, and it made sense to kind of continue being for this project. And as a participant for 2 years, it I can see the benefit and I can see the growth from the participants being able to come to an in-person and being in that space with each other. So to have been a part of that and be able to support that goal is just really cool to see the growth and see the changes of people being able to connect in person. Because regardless of COVID, I think a lot of people are very happy we're not on the internet all the time anymore. Um, so that from perspective, really cool to just be a part of that growth. And then as far as like where I'm at 2 years later, I'm still obviously with myself, and there are always new levels, new devils that you're gonna face. But I am swinging into the farther or the next piece of my journey. Mary has you do kind of an exercise program that just shows all the aspects of your life and like where are you a balance. And when you do that exercise, it really shows you kind of like, oh, the only thing I need to work on. And when I got that perspective shift for me, it really showed me my next steps. And so over this last year or the start of this year, I've been working really diving more into the self love and health for myself. Not that I'm not healthy, but there are things I could do better. And that's really what I've been working on this year is to really dive into that self-care piece for myself. So,
I love that. And I've loved
yeah.
seeing you grow and blossom and just get more and more comfortable in your skin and in yourself. And it impacts so many things when we take like the root of our self-image issues that we have and we start tackling at where did this like confidence and go, where is it, rediscover it, and we get to reconnect those wires again. It affects every area of your life, from your business to your relationships to everything that you touch. It is like a ripple type of effect. So it's been a joy to see you grow. And I know that one of the things Laura's like, well, can't I just stay forever? And
Yeah.
sponsorship. She is through
Yep.
sponsorship because there are, she's seeing over obviously like our other participants who've been there who are still there as members. So that's what's really cool. Lauren, tell people how they can get in contact with you. You do offer like day passes, but where can people start to make some connection with you guys? Where do they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously the social media, Facebook, Instagram is where we hang out as the Nest. You just look up the Nest Cowork Plus Club or on Instagram at the Nest CC. And then if you want to specifically reach out to me because I like to think I'm pretty cool, you can at Lauren at the nestcc.com or just shoot a message on Instagram. It's usually me responding. So that's the best way to kind of get a hold of us. Or you can go on our website and fill out a contact form for any reason whatsoever, venue rental, or just to say hi. And that's a great way to send your email. We can have a conversation.
I love it. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. I can't wait for everybody to get to meet you and learn more now about the Nest. I hope they've learned something new and have been educated on all the things the Nest. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thank you.